special episode is all about helping with hip pain, whether it is a total hip replacement, whether you've got sciatica going on, whether you've just got osteoarthritis in the joints and you haven't had to have any kind of medical treatment for that. I would like to share with you how you can use our assortment of Lifepro products from the convenience of your home in order to help with improving not only mobility in the hips, but also in resolving and alleviating pain on an instant kind of level. So with a lot of what I do professionally within my clinic here is we specialize in instant pain relief. And every day that we see clients that fly in near and far, we are getting results instantly with the use of our Lifepro products, as well as with use of some of my favorite tips and tricks that I'm going to teach all of you today in using in coordination as a companion product to our Lifepro line. Today's feature is going to include our Lifepro vibration platforms. I've got the Rumblex Plus, which is a 4-dimensional model, which is my favorite. I've got the Rumblex Pro, which is also among one of our greatest sellers as far as it's a 4-dimensional vibration application. So it's got 3 motors, much like the Plus. The difference is the Plus is completely flat and the Pro has a little bit of a curve to it. This curve is not significant enough to cause any extra problems within the hip, but if you have our Rumblex 4D model, the original, which is this one right here, I'll bring it to you up close in person. This is our original Rumblex. If you have this one at home, it has a much bigger curve on the end of it. That is not ideal. If you have hip pain, you're going to want to discontinue using that one, or if you're thinking of getting a model to help with resolving hip pain, you're going to want to make sure that it's flat or that you're looking at the Rumblex Pro. If you have the option of going with one level of product versus another, you're going to want to stick with one that has 2 to 3 motors. The the Waver Mini is the travel size that I use. It's a much smaller unit, 1 motor. And if you're a senior citizen or somebody who is really challenged with balance and these bigger ones are intimidating or kind of scare you, the Waver Mini offers a great application of vibration, but it's much smaller. So it's a little bit harder to get your base of support on there where you're able to spread out like shoulder width apart. It's much, much narrower. So it works really well for kids. It works really good for upper body. But I'm going to show you how to use it if that's the model that you have. So you can go from one extreme to the other extreme as to which product that you might have at home or which one you're considering. Among our other products that I wanted to feature today, we have our Allevared therapy belt. This is our Pro model that just came out, and it has our wireless, cordless, battery attached magnetically, and then it also has our extender strap. Red light therapy, infrared light therapy is really, really good for reducing inflammation, not only in the joint, but in the soft tissue area. So after you do these exercises, when you're laying in bed at night or trying to get up and get going, if you're really stiff sore and we're trying to regenerate collagen, trying to attract more stem cell development and just overall lowering inflammation levels, you can use red light therapy and infrared light therapy. And this one comes featured with vibration as well. So you can use that at the end of your session with your exercises. I've also got the Horizon Balance Trainer that I'm going to be featuring. I love using this in order to get myself level with the platform if I'm trying to do some lying down exercises, or if you have challenges with mobility in general. You can't get your hips to move from one side to the other. You can't get all the way down on the floor. I'm going to show you how to use the Horizon Balance Trainer as an extra level of comfort as you are doing some of these exercises. Also have one of our mini massage guns. It doesn't matter which massage gun you use. This is the Sonic Plus. This is one of my favorite models. We're going to use the spongy dampener tip on it. And then it comes with several attachments. I'm going to say it comes with like 10 attachments, big ball attachments. So I'm going to show you how to loosen up muscles and tissue that would cause hip pain, especially in the sciatic area. And then we've also got our Relieve a Cup cupping series of products. So I'm going to show you how to apply a cup and how to turn it on and maybe the exercises to do while you're wearing it. And so that's kind of what we got going on here. Now, what I always like to share is the idea and anatomy or what could be causing hip pain, why we have hip pain, because most challenges with hip pain is not always a hip problem. It can be an outlet from something else going on. So we have our handy dandy pelvis here. This pelvis model has taught a lot of great lessons over the years. And this is exactly along the lines of what your pelvis looks like. And our pelvis is supposed to be a very mobile joint, which means it's supposed to be loosey-goosey, and you're supposed to be able to move a lot. We have a ball and socket joint right here, which means the thigh bone, known as the femur, works very fluidly within this joint space. But as we get older, that joint space becomes less lubricated, and I like to think like it's like a gasket or like a rubber washer that lines that area becomes less and less, which means the bones grind a little bit more. And if we get inflammation in there, it causes a lot of tension and pulling and pain in these muscles. And so I want you to remember, the pelvis is meant to flare in and out. It's meant to tilt forward and backward. It is meant to, we've got our sacrum, which moves along with it. So those of you who have SI joint pain, so you've been told, SI joint is going to be right in here where this big part of your spine meets with your pelvic girdle. So right here in the middle, and part of your sacrum floats. So that's this little section right here. So we have a pelvis that can go also with rotation forward and backward. So a lot of times what I'm seeing in a lot of my clients when they come in for hip pain or back pain, hip and back kind of go hand in hand. A lot of times we should be, if this is a bowl of water, we want our bowl of water to be sitting level, which means if we are tilted forward by how we stand, this usually happens when you lock your knees out, just standing, and most people don't realize that they're doing it, you start to lose water out of your belly button. And if we're tilted back in this position, then that's usually what happens when you're losing water out of your butt crack. We don't want to lose water out of our belly or our butt. We want to keep the water level. So if you can imagine, this is our pelvic ring. Our pelvic floor sits inside of here, and inside of here is where prostate, uterus, bladder, all that good stuff. This sits right inside of there. This has to be one of the strongest parts of the entire human body. And unfortunately, for most of all of you, including myself, it's one of our weakest areas if it's even firing. So why is vibration so important? Well, because vibration naturally stimulates up to 90% of your muscles to engage and fire, twitch anywhere from 10 to 50 times per second without the brain sending the signal. It is a response to an action. So it's a reaction to an action, which means it's a magic machine. You don't have to think, it just happens. When that happens, it allows these muscles to start twitching, start working like a pump, pushing the swelling up and out of there. And it also starts to make those muscles stronger. So just by getting on the vibration platform is going to help resolve hip pain, whether you're doing exercises with it or not. Just get on it. You can be standing, you can be sitting, whatever works best for you. But we have a lot of musculature here. And so when we're sitting, when we look at the pelvic floor, pelvic ring, we want that to be like our bowl of water. So if our pelvic ring is forward, we're losing water. If our pelvic ring is backwards, we're losing water. So we want to try and keep this as level as we can so that our water stays nice and neutral, okay? So if you can't experience that, then I'm going to teach you how to do some movement in order to like lubricate up those hips, because movement is medicine and motion is lotion. All right, so there's my handy dandy pelvis model. Now, what I always like to share with all of you, those of you who have watched a lot of my videos in the past, I like to actually show you what things look like, because if you don't understand what your body looks like from an anatomy standpoint, then you might not understand why you feel some of the things that you feel. So if you happen to have any questions as you're learning some of this information with me, feel free to comment in the box below or on your platform, your social media platform, and I will answer any questions you might have as we go. So this is, believe it or not, this muscle right here is actually a very powerful muscle, even though it's not necessarily on the hip. It attaches and crosses over the hip, but it causes the hip to shift forward and backward. That muscle, when that muscle gets tight, it is the #1 cause of low back pain, which also transitions into hip pain. If we've got back pain, we also have a hip problem because they work together. So that big muscle goes all the way up here by the rib cage, and it comes down and it crosses over into your femur bone there on the inside. So we have lots of muscles here that we're looking at. On the backside, I'm just going to start adding layers of muscles, and you're going to see how complex things get really quick. So now we're adding, most people who have sciatica, it's because the muscle through here is super tight. I'll add the nerve so you can see what the sciatic nerve looks like. And so if you see that big yellow cord, let's see if I can highlight it. There we go. It's highlighted pink, very, very small that you can see it, but it's actually the diameter of an ink pen. So that pink nerve is the sciatic nerve. So if you've been told that you've got sciatica, you probably don't have true sciatica, because true sciatica, you would have to have damage to the nerve at the vertebral level. But sciatica pain typically comes along because these muscles right here are so tight that it compresses on that nerve and sends that sharp shooting pain, almost like you're being stabbed with a knife in your butt cheek. So when we start adding more layers of muscles, and we put the big guns on there, those are the big guns. Those are the booty muscle, butt muscle. Believe it or not, most people are not firing their butt in sequence. They're not using their butt like they should use their butt. And these other muscles over here to the side are stabilizers. And that's what I'm going to show you how to use on the vibration platform, because even though those stabilizers are not as big and elaborate as our big butt muscle on the outside, it actually does more work in a lot of ways than our major butt muscle, the gluteus maximus. We've got our gluteus minimus and our gluteus medius. And both of those sets of muscles, or those stabilizer muscles, a lot of times are deficient in how they're working, which can cause a lot of pain in the hip because the hip doesn't move the way it's supposed to. Now, when we're looking at the front of the human body, our hip flexors, we have lots of hip flexors, lots of quadricep muscles. So there's 4 quads. We have our adductors here on the inside. And I know I'm talking a language to some of you that you don't have any idea what I'm talking about. But the point is, there's lots of muscles. And if those muscles are not working the way that they're supposed to, well, then guess what? You have hip or back pain. So today is going to be more of a feature of how to get your hips moving and fluid, because most people do not have good hip mobility, especially the older we get. The more that we sit, the tighter those hip flexors are, the longer the muscles are on the backside. And when that happens, we have an imbalance in our handy dandy pelvis. And so when that happens, that's what stimulates back and hip pain. So hopefully that didn't sound too complicated, but I'm excited to share as to why we do the things we do as opposed to just doing it. I like to make sure you understand why I'm choosing, what we're choosing, and how we get across to that. So first things first, I want to be able to share with you, just if you have hip pain, I want to show you how to stand on your platform or even use a seated position, because you can sit on the platform with your legs on it and you can still feel the vibration happening here in the hips from a seated position. But the trick is you have to make sure that your seat or your bench, whatever you're sitting on, sits at a higher level than your knee. So if your knees are higher than your hips, it's going to be painful. So you want to make sure that your hips are higher than your knees. So I'll get into that here next. And then I want to show you after so if you're asking the sequence of like, which order do we go in here? Well, we want to stimulate and decrease tension in the body. So we're going to vibrate first, okay? If you don't have a vibration platform at home and all you have is a massage gun, doesn't matter what kind you have, they all work great. Ours are, of course, you can't go wrong with the Lifepro because they are all lifetime warranted products. But we've got the massage gun on, okay? If you don't have a vibration platform at home, you can just start with just running your massage gun around the knee. I like to say 1 inch per second, okay? And you can choose whatever speed works best for you. But we're just moving 1 inch per second as we make our way up. And what I want you to pay notice of is, where do you actually feel soreness? Because most of us have sore areas and we don't even realize that they're sore until we're on them. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It just means our body's trying to communicate with us that something is either stuck, we have a fascial connective tissue adhesion there, or the muscle's not firing. And again, mechanical vibration is a natural stimulator to getting muscles to fire, even though they don't want to. And so just working all these areas, all the way up and down like an inch per second is what I like to say. If you're wanting to do more of a warm up, then you can go much, much faster. If you're, you know, if you're not worried about finding your pain pattern areas and just trying to get the tissue loose, you can go a little faster. But if you're trying to find where you might have pain that you're not looking for, go a little slower. Now I'm going to tell you right now, the hot spot for most people is right here in that gluteus medius minimus area. Most people don't have pain back here in the maximus. It's always typically right in here that we have pain. And that's right where that ball and socket joint come together. So if you want to just massage that up and down in circles, it breaks up a lot of that connective tissue, scar tissue, adhesions, but it also gets blood flow in that area, and you're creating a lymphatic pumping system that pushes all the gunk out, okay? So just working your way through your hip, that's a very short version of that. If you have a family member at home that can help you, I've done a video in years past in how to use a massage gun for a total body experience, and I teach it laying face down on another client. So you can go back and watch that. It was recorded about 5 years ago, but that's our Sonic Plus, okay? Make sure you're drinking plenty of water is another big part of it. Now, when we are getting on our platform, again, it doesn't matter which platform you use, which program you use. If you're using the Rumblex series, my all-time favorite program is the P2 setting. I don't like to think about changing the settings when I'm on it. I just want to get on and go. So I'm going to adjust here just a tad. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to turn it on to that P2 setting. And again, this is the plus model, okay? And what I want you to remember, you're going to see a lot of jiggle, jiggle, okay? Jiggle, jiggle is good. Don't be afraid of the junk in the trunk. That's a good problem to have because it means that we're actually mobilizing, whether it's fat cells, whether it's toxicity, whether it's stagnant blood flow, we're getting new blood flow in. It is a good thing when things are jiggling because we want things to move. Movement is medicine. Motion is lotion. We got to lubricate. So just standing here, you can feel all this up here in the hips. Now, if our toes are square, meaning if we are drawing two parallel lines with our foot from toe to heel, shoulder width apart, our hips should be in a neutral alignment, okay? If we are more toes turned outward, heels inward, okay, we're placing more shortening on the back side of our hips, okay? And if we are toes inward with our heels outward, we're placing more emphasis, we're getting more stretching on the back, more shortening here on the front. So I'm not going to talk about internal rotators, external rotators, because that gets really confusing for people who don't understand the anatomy. But I want you to focus on making sure that you're getting all three of these positions because our hip is able to rotate through those. And those are the hamstrings. We got three major hamstrings on the back side. And what I want you to remember, our hamstrings are our braking system. So if we are traveling our vehicle forward, our hip flexors, our quads, are the gas pedal forward. And when we have to rebalance or we have to slow ourselves down or shift, our backside is what's responsible for that. So we want to make sure that we are exciting those hamstrings because most people, the hamstrings are longer because most people are sitting a lot. And when we sit, it makes these muscles here shorter. So we can't be short and short. You can't be tight and tight. We are either short on the front or we're short on the back. Wherever we're not short, we're long. So I want you to focus on shoulder width apart, toes square forward, heels squared back, and just follow your hands down and just reach for your feet. Okay? And if you can bend your knees, that's great. If you don't want to bend your knees and you want to stay straight, that's fine too. But I want you to just pay notice to where you're feeling tension, or maybe some of you are feeling pain. The biggest mistake that I see in here all the time is if somebody goes to bend over in here and they're like, oh my gosh, I feel this back here. That means my hamstrings are short. No, wrong. It means your hamstrings are more than likely long, they're weak, and because your pelvis is tilted forward, okay, if our pelvis is naturally tilted forward where the bowl is leaking out water from your belly button, then our hamstrings attach back here. So if I'm tilted forward naturally, and then I go to bend forward, guess what? wherever those muscles attach back here, they're getting pulled on. Doesn't mean they're too tight. They're just getting pulled on because the pelvis is not where it should be. So do we fix the hamstrings? No, we fix the pelvis. And then the hamstrings just get better, okay? But that's a big misconception. A lot of people, oh, I need to stretch my hamstrings. No, that just makes the problem worse. So we want to make sure that what we're paying notice of what you're feeling. If you feel soreness or pulling or pain on the backside, it doesn't mean you're short. It just means your pelvis is probably not in the right position, which you can change. So we're going to come back up. We're going to go heels in, toes out. So we're getting a different part of our hamstring. And we're going to do the exact same thing. You can straighten those legs and reach down, or you can bend those knees and reach down. It doesn't make any difference because all those muscles attach into the hip. And enjoy this. This is such a good feeling. And then we're going to go back square to the front. We're going to do it again. And we're going to enjoy it. Okay? And then we're going to go toes inward, heels are outward. Okay? Again, reach for those, for the floor or wherever you can go. If you can only go to the knees, that's okay. It's not a contest to see who's got greater flexibility, because it's not how flexible you are. It's a big misconception. Everybody wants to stretch. It's not how flexible you are. It's not necessarily how mobile you are. It's called pliability. How can we reshape, remold, and repurpose our body to do what we are asking it to do? Because most of us are stuck in a jar of Play-Doh that has been stuck on the shelf with no water for weeks. And what happens when you take Play-Doh out of the jar with no playing around with, no loosening it up, warming it up, remolding it, reshaping it? It becomes brittle and dried out. Well, guess what? Body's the exact same way. So don't be a jar of dried out Play-Doh. We want to hydrate. We want to work it a little bit at a time until it gets nice and lubricated, and then we start working on some strengthening stuff. Okay, so again, reaching down, coming back up, and you can go feet wider if you want to go feet wider. That makes a difference. The wider you go, the more you're going to feel it here on the inside. And when we go toes in, heels out, the wider you're going to go, the more you're going to feel it back on here. Okay, so those are some basics, very basic. Okay, now if I go to a seated position, again, we want to make sure that our hips are higher than our knees. And right now, my knees are sitting below the box, so I know my hips are higher than the knees because the box is higher. Okay, and all we can work on right here is just butterflies. Just think, or clamshells. A lot of you might have been to physical therapy and they have you lay on your side and do clamshells. I absolutely hate teaching clamshells laying down sideways because most people don't lay down and live their life laying on their side. We're trying to strengthen those muscles in a vertical functional position. So I will teach clamshells with your feet together, rubber band around the thigh, and we go in and out this way. But we can also take feet wide and go butterfly and work in and out. So this is internal rotation, external rotation of the hips. And if we don't have good motion there, okay, then it tugs on our bowl of water even more, and we either leak through the belly button or we are really leaking out the butthole. Okay, so back and forth, okay, and then we can go feet are wider, and you can see the vibration really lighten those legs up. Yes, and guess what? Those muscles all attach in our pelvic girdle. Whoops, there went all my parts. So we want to make sure anything and everything that plays into this gets a little bit of excitement. We all want attention, right? So we don't want to leave any body parts behind. And you can see my left leg, this leg right here, is vibrating a lot more than this leg. So that means this leg is probably carrying more tension, more adhesions, and is tighter. So I'm going to have to break this leg down a little bit more. So you can always look at yourself and see, where's my body vibrating and where's it not? If it's not spasming, vibrating, if you're not jiggly, doesn't matter what kind of fluff you got, right? Doesn't matter how old you are. If you're not jiggling, then the vibration is not making its way there. So we don't necessarily have a problem up here. We're gonna have a problem down here because it can't even get there. All right. So we're gonna work with that. But you can do toes in, heels out. And again, we're working more. That works more the outside of our leg. So if you have pain here on the outside of your lower leg, that plays into hip pain as well. So toes in, heels are out, and just relax and hold this position. And it makes a big difference as to how you feel. So Good to see you all today, by the way. If you're having pain in your lower body and you've been diagnosed with something, if you want to type in whatever it is you're struggling with, and I can kind of zone in on that if you need some information there. But again, just going to kind of go over some generalized movements here. All right, so let me see here. Yeah, super excited to see you all today. All right. Now, I'm going to go closer to the floor with our Horizon Balance Trainer because I love that thing. Love that tool. It's one of my favorite tools that we make. We're going to go, this is going to go out of the way because we're done with that. All right. What is nice about the Horizon, okay, is we can set the Horizon on top of the platform, okay? And on here, we can go knees together. We can drop our legs from side to side. Okay, and we can work on just some basic motion here. But the other thing, guys, is if I'm sitting on the vibration platform, on the Horizon, guess what's vibrating? My booty and those hips, and it feels oh so good. So if I'm gonna take, if I need like another like bench behind me so I'm up high, you can totally do that. I'm actually gonna do that, make my life a little bit easier. There we go, so hang tight. So you can have yourself a little ottoman or a step stool, whatever works for you, whatever you got at home. I'm just using a big old box. Okay, and so yes, you can just sit the Horizon right on top of there. But if I want to lay my arm back and if I want to shift all my weight to one specific side, guess what? The sciatic area, those glute muscles are getting lots of attention. And where we put our focus is where we get the result. So if we want pain to go away in our booty, then we got to vibrate through the booty. Okay, so that was 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that so I can continue to share with you some ideas. How long is too long? Because a lot of you guys have been asking questions like, can I just do 2 minutes or 10 minutes? No, get on repeat. You can do 30 minutes at a time if you really want to. We have those safety protocols in place just from a preventative standpoint, but I've been on my vibration platform several hours of a day, and it does not cause me any problem. It just helps me. So everybody's a little bit different. So you have to kind of do what works for you. But you can see, I'm getting a little jiggle going on here, which is a great thing, by the way. And again, if you want to sit really deep into it, the vibration is coming through the top of this dome right into my tushy, but I'm not sitting on something hard, so it doesn't hurt. It feels, ooh, so good. So I'm going to switch my box over here. And for me today, because I've been learning how to play golf lately, my right SI joint on my low back, so that is this area right here, is really sore. And so I'm going to focus on trying to alleviate that because I've been wanting to do that for a while anyways. I just haven't made time for myself, as most of us do. But you can see I'm jiggling here. Okay, you can see my fluff is bouncing all bananas, which is good. It means we're breaking stuff up. And again, this feels just really, really good. So you can just enjoy that, okay? Now, if you don't have the mobility to get those arms back, that's okay. What I'm going to show you as well is we'll get rid of the Horizon for just a second. And when you sit on top of your platform, make sure you put a little piece of mat or a towel over the top of it so you don't accidentally turn it off, the touch. But we're going to sit here. Let me adjust here my screen so you can see well. Good to see everybody. Happy Friday. It's a good day. Love Fridays. I get to connect with all of you guys. Okay, so there we go. Okay, now we're talking. All right. So make sure you got something down so that you have room to move. All right. So I'm going to lean back just a tad. If you don't have the mobility in your shoulders to do that, just hold on ever so lightly on the edges. Okay. And I want you to go shoulder width apart with your feet. And all I want you to do is drop those legs to the side, just back and forth, because this is a movement that our hips are supposed to do that most of us don't do. So this is, I like to say this is like a 90-90. We're trying to get to 90-90. So if you can bring those feet back towards you to where you got a 90-degree angle, you can start out lower and work this side to side, okay? And then bring those feet a little closer as you get going. And if you want to lean back to where your hands are behind you, you're going to feel this much more on the back side of your lumbar spine. So your middle spine, your butt on the back side. And you're going to feel this middle back as well in some ways. Feels really good. If you got sciatica symptoms, this is the one that feels really good. I don't have sciatica symptoms, but I'm talking about it because it's very, very common. But we're just rocking and rolling side to side. Okay, we're going to stay one side, and we're going to take one hand up, and we're going to wave. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Yep. And why are we waving? Because it loads more pressure on this side. At the same time, I'm receiving vibration, and I'm pinpointing it right in that, I like to call it the big fan of the booty. The big fan is opening up, and when we raise our hand up, it shifts all of our center of gravity to that side, so we get more energy. Okay? So we're going to go rock and roll. I like to say rock and roll, back and forth, rocking and rolling, back and forth. Okay, we're going to end on the other side. Rock and roll, stop, wave a hand. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you're all having a great day. Thanks for your energy today. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share my time with you, giving me great purpose. Ooh, and I'm feeling the joy of how good this feels. So if you're not doing this at home right now and you got any kind of back or hip pain, even knee pain, get yourself on one of these because it feels so unbelievably good. Okay, so again, rocking and rolling. Now, the other thing I want you to do, bring those feet together and let's butterfly those legs open, feet together, just butterfly those hips open and close. What I find a lot of men, as men get older, they lose the ability to open up their legs a little bit more. And when you can't open the legs up, when these muscles get really short and tight, these muscles get really lazy. And then when they go to sit, this part of their body keeps them from being able to move appropriately, and it causes pain. That's what can lead to the sciatica. So butterflying open and close. And now if we want to make this a little bit more interesting, we can add our handy dandy resistance bands, okay? We can add our resistance bands. So I like to use the Mark Bell Hip Circle Slingshot. If you go on Amazon, you can find booty bands, booty resistance bands. I like these because they have grippies on the backside so they don't move. And I have fibromyalgia from time to time symptoms. So it hurts to wear one of our Lifepro resistance bands, our mini loop bands. It hurts in those pressure point areas. So I like this hip circle the most. The more that you want to feel it down here near your booty, the band is going to go closer to the knee joint, okay? We're going to rip that band apart and bring it back together. Rip it apart and bring it back together. So if you get sore sitting in a chair doing this or laying on your side, these are clamshells right here, my friends. This is like optimal clamshell, but you can't cheat it. Like you're sitting upright, your feet are grounded with earth, so we're getting energy through our feet, and whoo, yes, I'm feeling it. Give those muscles a little patty pat, a little reward time. Okay, we're gonna go feet together. So soles of our feet are together, okay? And then again, rip that band apart. And you can hold on to your ankles in order to make sure that you're really opening that up. And you're gonna feel that firing on the backside at the same time that you're vibrating. It feels so good. While as otherwise, if you're doing this in a regular seated position without vibration, it probably would not feel so good, but vibration makes everything feel good. So there's that, okay? Now, if we take our feet further apart and butterfly back and forth, okay, that's more of a faster paced clamshell. We can do that for more excessive strengthening, and there we go. Those glute muscles are burn, 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 okay? So the positioning of your feet from the base of the platform away from your body changes how much booty burn you experience. So those of you who are wanting to build the most beautiful bodacious butt that's really strong and has that nice little smile, taking it from a long watermelon to a cantaloupe, big round butts are supposedly in right now from what I hear. I think we just roll with functionality, right? We want our engine, we want our vehicle to go where we want it to go, so the tires on it, they're going to be what they're going to be. But if you want a Michelin butt, we're building a Michelin butt. If you want a different Goodyear butt, you get what I'm saying? Like you can make it whatever you want it to be, but these exercises are going to help you build those butt muscles up so that your hip does not hurt, because weak booty muscles make for a sore hip. However, you can do too much hip strengthening and cause more pain because it starts to pull up higher. So there's that. Now we can also go feet shoulder width apart with our band. Okay, we're going to step out, step in, step in. So this is a little bit different, okay? But again, you don't have to rely on standing on your platform in order to do this. You can do this sitting. And I can lean back, or better yet, how about we take the horizon, lay it back behind us. So I've got it laying behind me. And I can actually lay back and do this exercise in a laying position. Okay, and I'll turn my platform here in just a second so that you can see it from a side view angle, because I've got other exercises that I love to do with this that really help with hip pain. But this is kind of, we're getting motion, but we're also getting some strengthening at the same time. And we're going to switch up which direction starts. We want some of our sides to be the one that leads the pack instead of dominating the same leader all the time. We got to switch up the leader. Okay, so there's that. Now, I'm vibrating on the backside. We can go ahead and pick up our legs, rip the band apart, come back to. Rip the band apart, come back to. All right? So I'm going to turn my platform sideways so you can see all of that from a side view angle. And I'm actually going to transition to the Rumblex Pro because I've been on the Plus. Those of you who have the Pro at home, it'll give you a taste of how you can use the Pro as an advantage for the same exercises. I like to make sure that you get an idea of how to use each type of model so that you don't feel like you're left alone out there. So we're going to go sideways here. And again, super excited to see all you today. I hope you've been having a great week. Fridays are always good, but I like to say every day is a good day because you get to be alive to experience it. So every day is a normal day for me, a good day. I don't keep track of one day to the next. I just love every day, some form or another. We all have the choice to win our day or not win our day. Now, I'm going to put out a mat just for convenience. I'm not laying directly on my turf here. And you can just use a regular old yoga mat. This just happens to be a fancy Bobby Aldridge motion mat. BAM, B-A-M is the name of that mat. It's a great, great mat. Okay, again, I like to go P2 on this. So we're going to light it up. We're going to push the gear button twice. We're going to push play. The machine is in motion, okay? And let me create a little extra space here. I want to hear the best part of your day so far. If you're listening in, typing in information, giving us a little love here at Lifepro, I want to hear what is the best part of your day so far, wherever you're at in the country. I'm Eastern Standard Time, so it is lunchtime here today. All right, so we're going to go booty band on, in position, and actually have to get on the machine. There we go. So now, see what I did? I accidentally turned it off because I wasn't thinking. I was too excited to say hi. Now we go. Okay, so we're going to slide that over so there's nothing touching the screen by accident. Okay, so I'm going to lay back and enjoy. There we go. All right, so here's what I want you to think about. So my butt, pretty close and centered onto my Rumblex Pro. Feet are together, and all I'm doing is ripping the band apart. The closer the band is to your knees, the more you're going to feel it back here, believe it or not, because the lever gets longer with resistance. So if you have trouble doing this, okay, then you can bring the band up higher if you choose to. Now, the other thing I want you to think about, right now, my bowl of water is tilted forward. So I actually want to tilt it back. So you see how I'm rocking and rolling my hips? And it looks like I'm doing a reverse crunch, but I'm actually just using my pelvis. I'm not actually firing my abs. The abs are actually connected all to that. So if you tilt your pelvis backward, tilt it towards your chin, okay, you should feel the energy much higher into your back region, depending on how you're laying on your platform. But we're just going to rock and roll that back. Okay, now rip the band apart. It changes everything. Now we're really getting into some good hip stabilizers here. So I want you to refocus on tilting. So if you can feel air pocket there, shut it down, close that air pocket off. And we're doing that just by using our pelvis. We're not using our chest. We're not using our thighs. Thighs are loosey-goosey. Everything happens down here in the hips, in the pelvis. So we're losing water out of the back of our bowl right now for a specific reason, ripping that band apart, okay? So this is now firing. So those of you that want really good abs, this is the way to get the abs, okay? So now we can go legs up, okay? You can keep your feet together if you want to, or spread those feet apart, rip that band apart. It's okay if your knees are higher, if they're out in front of you, I don't care. Just think about ripping that band apart while we are laying here, and we're getting vibration in our hip area, and we are strengthening those muscles at the same time, very safely, just using our body weight and a booty band, okay? Lifepro does not sell booty bands yet. Have to send that idea into them. But if you do have your mini loop resistance bands, so if you don't have a booty band, you all have one of these bands. It comes with your product. You're going to put these around your ankle because it's going to be really uncomfortable if you put it up high because it hits a pressure point. So you're going to put it around your ankles, okay? And all I want you to think about is ripping the band apart at the ankles. And again, when you do that, it is really lighting those hip muscles on fire. Woo-wee. So the closer you go to the hips, the less intensity it is. The further away you go from your hips, the harder it is. So if that's too hard for you, you're going to bring that band up higher into the calves, and same thing. Rip the band apart. Pretend like you're ripping the band apart. Some of you actually might accidentally rip the band apart. If you do, just let us know. We've got extras, okay? But we're just opening and closing those legs. And those of you who want to get really adventurous, if you can get your legs up straight and open and close, that's a whole nother level. But a lot of you might not be able to get those legs up high, and if you can't, that's okay. Now, do you have to be on the platform to do this? No, you can do it on the ground. I'll show you how in just a second. But I want you to think about opening those legs together, all right? Now, on the other side of things, we also have the Amber Squishy Ball, okay? So we're gonna put that in between, and all I want you to do is focus on just popping it. Why? Because we might have a problem with strengthening through here. If you're already short and tight through here, if you have low back pain and you know that you cannot open your legs up very wide, this is going to be an area that is carrying a lot more tension. So we're going to work on opposites. But those of you who, especially women, this is usually a weak area. Men, it is usually a tight area. So ladies, put that ball in place, lean on back, and grip like you're going to pop it. We all want to get rid of that inner thigh flab, right? And this is how you do it. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to hold for 5 seconds. We can bring our legs up. Let's pulse 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. We're going to slowly lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze and hold. Now this is where it's going to get really fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly bring back down. Now, feet together. Let's go feet together, kind of like they're stuck like glue. I want you to glue your big toes together. The big toes do not move away from each other. They have to have each other. We're going to squeeze and pulse 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. Keep those feet glued together, toes together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. Oh, that is killer. Now you want to feel outer thigh, inner thigh. This is the money, okay? Now, pulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if we can take those legs all the way up, but keep those big toes glued together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're really feeling those inner thighs. So those of you who love Amber's buns, love Amber's inner thigh program, loves to be able to get rid of the saddlebags and inner thigh flab. Amber Squishy Ball from Amazon, known as a Pilates barbell, and a booty circle, or use your mini loop bands. Those 2 pieces of gear, along with, you don't even have to have a vibration platform or horizon. You just have to have those on the floor, will really start to transition things. It's a great thing. Now, something else that I want to show you here while we're laying back, okay, is if you have hip pain, a lot of times it is because we're stuck. We're not moving very well. So feet together. This is, we're going to let our hips roll side to side. I kind of showed you this earlier, but I'm going to show you from a side angle, okay? We're just trying to get those hips to open up side to side. My feet are kind of glued together right now. And where should you be lying on the platform? Wherever it's comfortable for you. You have to be comfortable, okay? but we don't want air pocket here. So tilt those hips back, let those thighs roll to the side. Firing those abdominal muscles is going to get you really good ab muscles. Relax. So let the air clear, tilt that bowl back so you're leaking out your booty. And we're going to roll to the other side. Enjoy the vibration. Relax, re-engage, tilt back. This time we're going to roll. We're going to take one hand and reach over our head. You're going to feel this whole side stretch out. Then we're going to take one leg and cross over. Oh, that feels so good. You can really feel things breaking up. Feels so good, okay? Bring that leg across. Let's roll other side. Take that arm straight up overhead. Take leg across and really stretch out. Our body is meant to do this, by the way, so if you can't do this, you got to work on it. And if you find that one side is much better than the other side, you love the other side that needs a little extra help a lot more until you get equalized out. We want to be equal, as equal on both sides as possible. Let that leg drop. Now, cross over the leg. So we're crossing over. If you can't cross over that way, you just get to wherever you can, okay? Wherever you can get is fine. We're just going to rock and roll nice and easy, okay? Rock and roll. Let's take it across, okay? Reach for the wall. Give me a little hello. How's everybody doing today? If we just do a little finger glory back and forth while we're opening this up, okay? Taking it back to center, okay? I want you to reposition, get yourself comfortable, tilt that pelvis back, cross the leg over, roll to the other side, wave. Hello, everybody. It's a great day. It's a Friday, fun Friday with Lifepro. And yes, we're really opening things up. Feels so good. Okay, now the optimal position for this is ankle at the knee, and then the knee. So right ankle at the left knee. Let your right knee go as far away from your face as possible. So you want the knee away from you. Just rock and roll here, just nice and easy, like a little massage. Feels so good. And my friends, if you are having pain because it's a pressure point laying on your back on your platform, get yourself a low-level pillow or get yourself a blanket or a towel. You can lay it on there and it will soften it up for you, but the vibration is where it's important. So we're going to keep that knee put and we're going to roll to the side. And yes, you're going to feel that here on the outside of the hip, and you're also going to feel it underneath. It's such a good exercise. And rock and roll back and forth. So if you've got sciatica, that's the exercise. So left ankle, right knee, push the left knee away from your face, rock and roll, massaging that nice and easy. As you take it across, make sure you keep that knee away from your foot. You're going to feel that more through here along the outside and underneath. That's that muscle that gets really tight like a vice grip over the nerve of the sciatica and says, not today. And you're going to say, yes, we are today. And you're going to loosen that up, and then life just gets better. All right, so there's that. The other thing that I want to share with you, if you happen to have a foam roller and you don't have a horizon, you can sit on a foam roller and you can roll back and forth over the foam roller. And it is a much different experience from just using vibration. Very different. In fact, I actually created this method after having a client who needed work done at home or needed to be able to take my work with him at home. And this is what we came up with. So you're just going to rock and roll. But when you use a foam roller, this is a half foam roller. You can also use a regular foam roller. Okay, you can sit that on there and you can vibrate and rock and roll a little bit and use the foam roller as a massager. So my platform is off, but here's where we're going to use the Waver Mini. Okay, so if you have a Waver Mini and you are struggling with being able to fit on the platform, then I'm going to show you how you can use your Waver Mini as a great advantage. So if you're an athlete who is traveling, I love to travel with the Waver Mini because the others are way bigger and heavier. And Waver Mini, you can carry it in your vehicle. You can plug it in if you got a truck or a battery that allows you to plug in. Most vehicles are coming out with that stuff right now. But if you happen to have a foam roller and you've got a Waver or a turbo, whatever works for you, we're going to choose the highest program possible, which is on this one a 9. Okay, so you're going to pee through until 9. That means you get the highest intensity, and then it takes off. Okay, now you don't have to have, again, the horizon. You can if you want. just a bonus. Everything's a bonus. But you're going to sit on that roller, okay? And you're just going to rock and roll ever so slightly. And you get to choose where you position the intensity based on how you position your body. All of our hips, I have worked on thousands of human bodies, thousands. And I've never seen two people that are built anywhere comparable to the same. They might look the same in clothes. They're built so different. We're built based off of our experiences, and our body is always reshaping, restructuring based on the stress that we apply to the body. So I've never seen two humans that are built the same, even though our list of assembly parts for the vehicle are identical. We are all reshaped a little different. And I've never seen one human with 2 feet that are the same, because 25% of the bones in the body are in the foot, and we always dominate motion one foot to the other based on our confidence level. So if you are not able to open up like this, you can get yourself a pillow. You can get yourself a horizon. And then you can use that because you're raising the surface. You can use a box. You can use an ottoman. Whatever you got available. You can use a laundry basket if you want to. Anything and everything works. But we're just rocking and rolling, and we're going to drop those legs to the side, rock and roll, which gives you stimulation in a different spot than if your legs are centered, okay? So we're going to go other side, rock and roll. And this feels really good, by the way. And there you have it. So that's how you use the foam roller on a Waver Mini in order to get the best of this. Now, if you do have a pillow or something that you can lay back on, this is another favorite exercise, okay? Right now, my hips are a little higher than my shoulder blades, okay? So we're not gonna try and tilt the hips back. We're already okay. But what I'm gonna do is pick one knee up and just rock and roll just a little bit. I'm just rocking it back and forth. Put that knee down, pick up the other knee, rock it, nice and easy. Nice little massage action. Good. Okay, and again, we can drop those legs to the side, little rock and roll action. Back to the center, drop the legs to the other side, a little rock and roll. Feels so good. Actually needed this today, wowzers. Okay, now bring one knee up, bring the other knee up. It's a balance act, right? But we're getting vibration right in the hot spot at the deepest point of our spine. And a lot of us wouldn't be able to do that on our own, but we're using muscle contraction to stabilize this, so we're doing something good for ourselves, and the machine does all the rest of the work. And then if you want to, put one leg down and drop that leg to the side to be able to open your hips up. This feels really good, by the way. We can do that. Now I'm getting vibration on the outside of my hip. So if you're trying to get vibration on the IT band, this is a great way to get it without laying directly on it while you're still getting pressure across the backside. Pick up a leg, drop it to the outside. Everything stays put. So this side is getting excited, getting a stretch on the outside. And because of how my leg is opening up, I'm getting IT band on the foam roller on the other side. Okay. Now, if you want to make this more interesting, we can turn this into an abdominal workout. So we bring a knee up, drop it down, pull it up. So here's your dead bugs with your tilt. If you're wanting to make that a little bit more interesting, because it's really boring when you're laying on the floor doing this, right? So we're trying to maintain 90-90s, but if we have to bring the knees back a little further, that's okay. You do what works for you. There's no rules. Everybody's body is different, and we all work at different stages and progressions. Okay, so when you drop one knee down and pull the other leg back, you're going to feel a big pull here on the front. That also makes a huge difference in hip pain. So you're going to bring it up, bring it down. You can even straighten that leg out. Oh, that feels so amazing, feeling that big time here on the front of the hip. That's your psoas crossing over, number one cause of low back pain. Bring the knee up, stretch that leg all the way out. Nice big stretch right here, feels so wonderful. And those of you that are watching, I hope you're doing some of these at home. If not, and you want to comment and tell me what excites you, what's your favorite exercise you've seen here today that you kind of surprised about. Now we bring the both knees up. Now watch. We're going to rock and roll to the side. Bring the leg up, back to center, drop to the side, leg up, leg up. Oh, guess what? If you fall off the platform, it's okay. I fall off all the time too. It doesn't mean you're bad. It just means you lost your balance. And that's what we got to do sometimes. So just holding your knees up here. You can even bring knees to chest. And I'm getting vibration right across my SI joint, right across the sacrum, lumbar spine. Feels so amazing. Just keep those arms at a T for balance, and you can just rub back and forth. If you do this directly on the platform, it's a little bit more sore because it's a hard surface. The foam roller makes it a little bit more tolerable, but I'll show you if we take it all the way down. Whew, there we go. So you can do this without the foam roller. So knee up, drop that leg to the outside, and you still get good vibration. And again, if you need to put a pillow on there so that you don't have the extra pain associated with that, so you can just mix up the legs if you want to. So we're going to bring up the legs. We're going to tap down, back up, back down, back up. We're going to tap down, bring one knee back, slide the other leg down. It's an easy way to enjoy the vibration platform. You just need to make sure that your shoulders and your head are supported at the same level so that you don't cut it off here at your back. But just bringing the knee up, sliding the other leg out. Feels great. All right. So this is, again, these are some of my favorite exercises that you can do in order to work on strengthening and loosening things up. Now, I want to show you some stretches you can do in a seated position, especially on the waiver mini here. Since it's so narrow, it's really hard to stand on and get the motion that you're wanting, especially if your stance is a lot wider. So we're going to go legs apart, okay? And if we just sit center on it and we go more into legs open, okay? Let me move this back so you can see really good. We want you to be able to see all these. There we go. Okay, so we go legs open, okay? Toes to nose, toes to nose. Just doing this right here, you're gonna feel things moving through here in the middle, okay? So toes to nose, all I want you to do is lean forward. You lean forward, you're gonna feel this here, you're gonna feel it in your hips, you're gonna feel it in your back. Everything feels really good, okay? We're gonna take one arm, reach across to the opposite leg. This is where you're gonna feel it on the back. And if you've got sciatica, this helps tap into that a little bit more. Reach back around. We're going to take the opposite arm, reach for the opposite leg. Doesn't matter which order you go. And because we're vibrating, we're stimulating muscle activity, so we're not just holding this. You don't want to just hold a stretch. It actually shuts the neurological system down. We're going to reach for the toes, come back, reach for the stars. Reach for the toes, reach for the stars. But I want to make sure toes are to nose. So reach for the big toes and pull back up. Reach for the big toes and pull back up, okay? Now, if you have trouble doing this, bring in one leg and just reach, okay? You're still gonna get a nice stretch here on the back side. You're still gonna get a nice lengthening here. But if you can't stretch out both legs and you really wanna open one leg up, you can do that, okay? If you have hip pain and it's coming from up top, if we go feet together, soles together, knees are out like a butterfly, push up to the sky and lean, okay? And if you don't feel balanced here, take a hand down and really push that rib cage away from your hips. Ribs from hips is the secret. We want to create space between our ribs and our hips. All right, and we're gonna come back center, reach up for the sky, save Chicken Little because the sky is falling. Push, 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 and we're gonna feel separation ribs to hips. Now, can you do this without feet together? Absolutely. Feet out in front of you, push the sky away, lean, take that hand down, lift, lift, lift. So it's not about leaning this way, it's about pushing, push away, all right? And as we're pushing into the ground, we're pushing into the sky, we're separating, creating tension along a different line so it takes the pressure off the back. Such a great thing. All right, we got some people that are commenting here. Oh, it feels so good. Okay, so what if you experience pain raising your leg up in the hip? Okay, so if you have pain in the hip, I'm gonna show you what you gotta do. It's because you are overfiring the wrong muscles. So I'm gonna show you this on the floor because it's easier to teach this on the floor. This is our handy dandy pelvis, okay? If you're feeling pain in your hip when you go to pull the knee up, it's because there's a catch here in the front. So we wanna make sure that our hip is tilted so we're leaking water out of our butt crack, okay? And so what is that gonna look like on the floor? We're laying down on the floor, okay? And so if my handy dandy pelvis is here, okay, most people are sitting pelvis forward. We want to tilt the pelvis back, okay? So tilting pelvis back, closing off that air pocket Then we bring the knee back, okay? And then we can straighten out the legs. So you can do this laying down on the floor without a vibration platform. And while we're here, let's just go ahead and take this to another level. So we're gonna take one hand out to the side, let this roll across. Ah, this feels so good. Then we can reach, open my hand up for an extra pocket change, like we're collecting coins in our palm while we're reaching, okay? And then we're coming back to center. So let's regroup that. So if there's air pocket behind you, you gotta shut it down. And we're not using our legs to do this. We're only using our pelvis. So I like to say we're boning our chin. So tilting the pelvis, just the pelvis, towards our chin, okay? So if your pelvis is here and you're going to lift the leg, you're gonna have pain. So make sure that we are rocking and rolling the pelvis, rocking and rolling, okay? Rock and roll. Let's bring the other knee up, take the leg down. You can do some foot flexion there. Take it across the body. Reach for palm up, pocket change, and that should help loosen that up a little bit. It should help reshape, rearrange things, okay? If we're loosening one side up, we're obviously gonna be shortening the other side. So we're trying to create balance somewhere. So just rocking and rolling and shutting down that air tunnel underneath of our back, this exercise alone helps with hip pain as long as you're not pushing your legs away from you. So we're not like trying to push our feet into the ground. This is all happening with sloppy legs. Everything is loosey-goosey. Okay, so we're here. And then again, we can take those legs and drape them across. We're gonna feel a pull all the way here. So I hope that helps you on that. Now let's talk about the cupping really quick, because this is a great tool, okay? So we're gonna take our cup, and what I would suggest doing is you're gonna put it right here on the outside. I've actually never tried this before. So let's try this and see if it works. Can we stick it on there? And nope, it's not gonna work. So I'm gonna stick this underneath. Yep, there we go. Okay, now it's on and it's stuck. Now I can actually move with the cup in place. And yes, it is a good thing if you have the cup on and you can go through and do some movements, because when you're cupped and when you're moving at the same time, we are decompressing, pushing blood flow through, getting the stagnant flow out, and getting quality of life back into that space. So I'm doing all this underneath my shorts here, okay? And so if we go to, you have to power off in order to remove it. Whoops. There we go. So we just removed. Now, the other thing you can do is you can do it right here on the outside of the thigh. Okay, and so we've got, there we go. And so it's on there, not going anywhere, okay? We can do our movement that way, all right? The other thing that we can do is we can do it right here on the front of our hip. So we're gonna go power on. And if it doesn't wanna seal, if you take, this one doesn't wanna seal, right? Let me try a different one. There it is. Woo, there we go. So it's on there. Shaky, shaky, wakey, wakey. Okay, it's on there. So you can do leg motions with this on here, and it will help loosen that up, because that tissue right here actually starts all the way down at the bottom of your foot, and it attaches up here in your neck. So if we're tight through here, you can decompress and mobilize all at the same time. It's a really cool concept. But again, if you have pain on your hip socket, I'm not going to get all flashy here on you, but hip socket, my hip socket's about, it's actually right there. We're going to go right there, power on. And you can't get material underneath. And if you have trouble with it sticking, there it is. You just have to reposition. So there it is, up close in person. You can see the skin is coming through. And of course, this comes with 2 different sizes. So we have our little cup and we have our really big cup. They are different sizes, okay? We also have our Lifepro Relieve-A-Cup Pro model. And the Relieve-A-Cup Pro model, let's see if I've got it out here. Yeah, it has a lip on it. I really like this one. And this one actually screws on, which makes it kind of cool. We sold out of these really fast, but this actually screws on. Okay, and if you have trouble with getting these to stick, just put on a little bit of lotion or cream and it will help to like create a barrier, like really gets it to stick. Okay, So we're going to power on. There we go. If you're lucky enough to find one of these, they're not out there very much because it was such a good hit. But there we go. So now it's on. You can see it's really stuck on there. We get red light therapy all at the same time. We get pulsed, flashing light. Yep. And we can go through the motion. So you put the cup on, and then you can go through the motion. Okay, we go through several of those movements. And then if you start to feel great, then again, see, I'm trying to pull it off, not going anywhere. So we got to turn it off or like go out of mode. This one actually has a cup release button. The other one does not. So this button right here actually releases it. Then let's go for another spot. So let's go right there in the middle of my butt. I know, right? Just what you wanted to see today. Okay, and you can see how the cup is really absorbing that tissue. Yowzers, yep. And then guess what? You can get into a squat motion in order to create separation with suction and motor activation, or we can go high knee raise, okay? And so we're lubricating that joint. We're separating layers, which pushes blood flow through, gets the nasty stuff out. And again, you can just switch it up. You don't have to leave them on a long period of time. Now we're on, and suctioning is happening, okay? So a little shaky, shaky, wakey, wakey, okay? Now this one's a hot one, really hot. The closer you go to the outside, the more lateral you are, more IT band you are, the more that really hurts. You're not hurting anything because we're changing tension along it, but it doesn't feel good. Now, those of you who actually have more of the SI joint pain, which is right in here, you're going to take your cup, you're going to stick it right over that spot that hurts and get it to stick. Give me a second here because I don't want to show you my butt crack. Don't think Joel wants me to either. Okay, so it's on there. Okay, not going anywhere. Now, what you can do is you can reach forward while you're cupped. So reaching forward, up and down. And my friends, I highly recommend if you get yourself the Relieva cup, make sure and get yourself 2 or 4. Don't get 1 or 3. Do even numbers so that you can balance out both sides, because the hip has to be balanced. If we go to tighten up one side of the hip, we create an imbalance, okay? So we like to make sure that we're working for symmetrical purposes on both sides, okay? They're like twins. We want to give both twins a little love, okay? So we can do high knees. We can just reach for the ground. We can get into a squat or sit in a chair and stand back up. We can get on our hands and knees, arch our back, sit back, okay? That's going to help. If we have pain here, it's going to cause pain here. So they work together. So there's that. Now we pulling that off. Now, the one other exercise that I wanted to share with all of you, if you happen to have Lowe's, Menards around you that you can get a piece of PVC pipe, they're already pre-cut. I like to use the longer pieces, okay? We're going to stick that behind our shoulders and just, you can grip it this way if you want to, but we're going to relax those knees and we're just going to rotate, okay? Because a lot of other problems with hip pain come from not having enough mobility from here to here. So we have to improve that mobility, and you can do that with a stick, okay? But just don't, if you lock your knees out, don't ever lock your knees out, even if you're just standing. A lot of people hyperextend their knees. That is the #1 cause of hip pain from what I see. So lock your knees out and then unlock them. Make sure that they're soft, okay? You don't have to be in a squat. They just need to be soft, okay? Just rotating now. We're gonna bend forward and we're gonna rotate a little bit side to side. Our body is meant to move in an omnidirectional type pattern, which means there are no rules. We are meant to move through all different planes of motion and lunges and squats and hinges and all different kinds of positions. So bend forward, and the idea would be to try and get that pull straight up and down as equal as you can on both sides. Now, I'm not having to do a whole lot of this through my hips. I'm doing it through my shoulders. But if my shoulders are not fluid up top, it's going to pull on this down here because this shoulder works with this hip, shoulder, hip, crisscross. So we have to make sure that we are fluid. If you're more fluid on one side than you are the other, work the other side a little bit more or go see your chiropractor because you have an imbalance. Those are some of my favorite things. So I hope that you all had a great time watching today with how we can help with hip and specifically hip pain. And again, the Relieva Cup and the Allevared product line with the red light therapy belt. These are great. You can, this is a battery pack that's wireless, cordless, and you can take it anywhere you want to take it. It holds a charge for quite a while. We turn that bad boy on. It's on infrared and red light, and it has a really nice circumference, and then it comes with a belt extender. So we have a belt extender, so you can make it bigger if you need to. If you want to go more into the hip region, okay, you can do that. You just want to make sure, like I've got clothes on right now, you want to go as bare to the skin as you can because the lights need to be able to make contact with the skin or have direct access to the skin. It does not work well traveling through clothes. So if you got to lay in a bikini bottom or a pair of underwear or whatever you got, you want red light and infrared light therapy as close to the surface of the skin, direct radiation of the light, the wavelengths, in order to benefit from red light, infrared light therapy. So on behalf of Lifepro, thank you so much for sharing your time with me today, learning about the hip and how we here at Lifepro can help you in experiencing great relief from the convenience of your home and being able to watch myself and Roseanne and Debbie. If you have special requests on what you'd like to see on upcoming videos, because we all three provide video feedback every week, I tend to focus more on pain management, rehabilitation, corrective exercise. Roseanne is more into fitness and yoga, Pilates. Debbie is into the depth of the science and special populations. And she is like the #1 guru on whole body vibration units. She's been in it for over 30 years. She is truly one of the top scientists in the world in how vibration works. And I specialize in sports medicine, human performance, exercise science, body work, mental coaching, and instant pain relief. Pain relief is the big one because everybody's in some kind of pain. So remember, movement is medicine, motion is lotion. Has to start right here at your mindset, though. You have to believe that you're going to get better, and you have to believe you're going to get better without taking a pill because our body is meant to move. It's not meant to be stagnant and still. When we're not moving, the body dies. So we get vibration going with it, the different vibration platforms that actively excites our muscles when we cannot move for ourselves. And that's how they keep weight on astronauts in space where there's no energy. Where there's no energy, our body dies. So we have to keep things moving fluidly, and our vibration platforms do that. If you don't have one, I highly recommend you get one, whether it's a turbo. If you're wanting to work more for back and hip, get yourself one with a wider base. The Rumblex series has 3 motors. They are my favorite unit. If you're thinking you're gonna love the Weber, the turbo, and you love it so much that you wanna upgrade later, just get the Rumblex now because you can turn a Rumblex into a turbo or a Weber, but you cannot go the other way. So you can isolate the motors. If you're wanting pulsation, oscillation, lateral, none of our vibration platforms are linear because they don't feel good. We used to make them and they're not feel good. So we don't like those around with Lifepro. I don't like them. I got rid of them as fast as I got them because they don't feel good. The oscillating motor is my favorite. Add a little lateral to it. Life is good. So thank you guys again. I hope you have a wonderful day. And until next time, don't forget to look at all the things going on that are going right in your life, because when you're in pain, it is really easy to go insane. It is really easy to let your mindset go. So just remember, when you're having your bad days, you've already survived your worst day or you wouldn't be watching this right now. So remember to keep your head strong, keep your mind right, and keep moving. For medicine, motion is lotion. Stay lubricated.